Behind, only memories remain.
I can't imagine the next 40 or 50 years of my life without him.
And now we wonder, what drove the killer? What kind of person was he?
Not necessarily sad. You know, I start to say unhappy, but more like mad.
Mike Taibbi with the anguish and unanswered questions in the days after the Texas church shooting. How fresh are the eggs you're buying?
I wouldn't want to be the consumer buying those eggs.
They could make you very sick.
I thought I was going to die.
Our Dateline hidden camera investigation last year found old eggs getting a new life.
So these eggs already have an expiration date?
Yes.
And they're getting a new one?
Yes.
Dateline's report spurred quick action.
When you came up with that videotape, it really opened everyone's eyes.
But was it enough? Stone Phillips with the latest on what is and is not being done to protect you from contaminated eggs. A little girl needs life-saving surgery.
She just lay in bed and didn't walk.
So why are her doctors packing her in ice?
I didn't really know whether to be horrified or impressed.
Where doctors have few high-tech tools, a strange and primitive kind of heart surgery. Will it work? Will she survive? Dr. Bob Arnott with a Dateline Discovery Channel exclusive. Did you give up beef hot dogs for chicken hot dogs this summer to cut back on fat? If so, you might have a different kind of beef now.
You know, if you just look at those buzzwords on the front of the package, it's so easy to be fooled.
Always look for air-popped popcorn or part-skimmed cheese. You might not be eating as healthfully as you think.
You really have to read the fine print.
Lee Thompson with some food for thought in a Dateline Good Housekeeping exclusive. Dateline with Jane Pauley and Stone Phillips, plus Tom Brokaw, Katie Couric, and Maria Shriver. From our studios in New York, here is Jane Pauley.
Good evening. Many bowed heads in Texas this morning were praying for understanding after what happened during a worship service last Wednesday in Fort Worth. It was an evening service for teenagers at Wedgwood Baptist Church. 150 of the faithful were singing hymns when their music was interrupted by an armed man spewing anti-Baptist rhetoric and gunfire. When he was done shooting, he killed himself in one of the pews. Tonight, who were the victims? And what do authorities know about the gunman who was both a mystery and a menace to his neighbors? Here's Mike Taibbi.
When he entered the sanctuary, he's standing at the back just randomly picking targets. They're not hurried shots. It's almost like someone going to the pistol range and seeing and firing at a silhouette, just gradually raising his weapon, taking an aim and then firing, and then glancing over at someone else, taking an aim and firing again.
Police Chief Ralph Mendoza is talking about what he saw on two home videos made during Wednesday night's church massacre. One of those videos was taken by 17-year-old Justin Ray, one of the 7 people gunned down as they sang Alleluia by a desperate and angry loner, Larry Gene Ashbrook. Amazing grace. Justin Ray was laid to rest Saturday.
Justin lived his life to the fullest one can when it's cut off at 17.
As were 3 of the other victims, a 23-year-old student, Sean Brown.
I loved being Sean Brown's wife.
A 23-year-old choir singer, Susan Kimberly Jones.
If you haven't seen her smile, then you've missed something.
And 36-year-old Sydney Browning, an inner-city teacher and a choir director who was beloved, says her pastor Al Meredith.
She was cool. She was like a Pied Piper to the children.
And she was surely loved by those children, including 17-year-old Mary Beth Talley, who herself survived a bullet to her back in the rampage.
Sydney Browning was my choir director. We call her Squid, or we used to, and she used to give us candy all the time.
As another city began burying innocent sons and daughters lost to a mass killing, the questions persist about the killer himself. Who was Larry Gene Ashbrook? And why, after a reclusive and unengaged life, did he explode in violence Wednesday night? The investigation of his life found he'd been a troubled youth who joined the Navy but was dishonorably discharged. A young man who never married and couldn't hold a job, and suddenly, without clear warning, a mass murderer. As a police matter, the case against him is effectively closed.
I have no doubts this is a suspect, and he killed himself. We're not looking for any other suspects in regards to this.
No accomplices either, Mendoza said. No evidence that there's a conspiracy of any sort.
No evidence of any conspiracy.
No hate group behind him.
We hear those rumors also. None of the evidence that we've uncovered to this point shows him being connected with any hate groups or conspiracies.
The evidence the police have collected includes several rambling letters Ashbrook sent to newspapers, including the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, after his church-loving father died in late July. The CIA, the Special Forces, the FBI, Ashbrook wrote, had long been conducting an investigation of me as a suspected serial murderer, deliberately linking him with real and now executed serial murderer Ricky Lee Green. Ashbrook claimed police had drugged and abducted him with one man's hand around my throat. It was impossible to keep a job, he wrote. He tried to find a lawyer to take his case and couldn't. And he went to the media, all with no result. Star-Telegram editor Stephen Kay received several of those letters, and he met with Ashbrook 4 weeks ago.
I said, there's not really much I can do for you. He said, nobody's ever done anything for me. I'm needing help. I want you to write something about it. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't. He was very pleasant, very polite the entire time, apologized for bothering me, and he went on his way.
But over the last month, Ashbrook was anything but pleasant and polite. On July 24th, Ashbrook's older brother Aaron told the detective from the Wise County Sheriff's Office that he'd obtained a shotgun for protection against Larry Jean, whom he described as a paranoid schizophrenic. Neighbors who knew Ashbrook said he would scream obscenities at random and even exposed himself on one occasion. One-time schoolmate Kim Hobbs said Ashbrook was more than a sullen but basically harmless loner.
Not necessarily sad. You know, I start to say unhappy, but more like mad or something.
And on Wednesday, in the hours before he carried 2 guns and 10 clips of ammunition into a crowded church, he spent the afternoon hours trashing his own family home and slashing the Bible and dozens of family photos. And then... Is there any evidence that you know of that you suspect may be substantiated at some later date that this was something other than a case of a deeply troubled loner who then became a lone killer, who killed by himself and who then killed himself?
No, not at this given point in time, and I don't anticipate finding anything differently.
It was a random act of violence.
To Donna Ennis, who lost her 14-year-old son Joey to a bullet fired by a stranger, Larry Ashbrook doesn't matter.
He decided that he was hurting, so he was going to make everybody else hurt too. And that doesn't make him evil, that makes him too important.
Donna had raised Joey as a single mom for the past 8 years. She worked 2 jobs and was thrilled when television station KXAS featured Joey as a great candidate for the Big Brother, Big Sister program.
Tonight, I'd like you to meet Joey, a precious 9-year-old who'd someday like to be
a newscaster.
Joey was 9 then, but already growing into the place he wanted to have in the world.
Like if people have like fights or something, I can stop them.
Now his shattered mother must remember him.
He was a happy kid. He was happy with his life. He had everything he needed and most of the things he wanted, and you know, he was always had a smile on his face.
She must try to forget the awful details of that last day.
I took him to the church and dropped him off. And the last thing, he hugged me and kissed me. I said, I love you, sweetheart. He goes, I love you, Mom. See you later.
And she will always know what the stranger with the gun took from her and took from his victim, named Joey.
I think he was learning things just by being there, but I wanted him to make the choice. I think he was in the right place at the wrong time.
Do you think the faith he was just beginning to have and to hold on to at the end of his life helped him in those last seconds and minutes?
I hope so. It's hard to know. But how do you get over losing a child? I can't imagine the next 40 or 50 years of my life without him. He had such plans. He was looking forward to learning to drive, to dates, to going to graduating high school, to going to college.
This was the child, one of the 14 innocents who were shot and 7 who died by Larry Ashbrook's gun.
That's all the sports. I'm Joey. See you tomorrow.
This is Dateline Sunday for September 19th, with reports tonight from Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Bob Arnott, Mike Taibbi, and Chief Consumer Correspondent Lee Thompson. Still ahead, they say they're fresh, but could the eggs you're buying be much older than you think? Is the government enforcing the law that protects you?
And you're saying even today?
Even today.
It's still not fully enforced.
Still not fully enforced.
Who's guarding the hen house?
Is your asthma really under control?
Yeah. But sometimes I wheeze.
Ever wake up short of breath?
I do.
Use your fast-acting inhaler more than twice a week.
I use mine every day.
If that's what you call control, ask your doctor if prescription Flovent is right for you. Flovent twice a day helps control the inflammation that can cause asthma symptoms in the first place and helps improve lung function. Flovent won't replace fast-acting inhalers for sudden attacks. People switching from an oral steroid like prednisone to Flovent, an inhaled steroid, need to be especially careful. While adjusting to the switch, your body is not as able to heal after surgery, infection, or serious injury. See your doctor if your asthma does not improve.
Now this is control.
Flovent, helping you define asthma control.
Why do people believe nothing works better than Alka-Seltzer Plus?
It just breaks up my nasal congestion so that I can finally breathe.
Only Alka-Seltzer Plus has the power of effervescence. It gets the medicine moving to break up your worst cold symptoms. Nothing breaks up your cold better.
According to the ancient Chinese calendar, 1999 is the year of the rabbit. But if you read Barron's and Money magazine, you could get the impression that 1999 is the year of the duck. Because only national discount brokers earned both Barron's and Money magazine's highest ratings for online brokers. Log on to ndb.com to see our new website now.
Who are today's richest Americans? Where are fortunes being made? Find out when we reveal this year's Forbes 400. All this week on CNBC's Business Center.
From our studios in Rockefeller Center, here is Stone Phillips.
Why are they packing this little girl in ice? They're doing it to save her life. She's 10 years old and needs open heart surgery to repair a hole in her heart. But she lives in Siberia, where heart-lung machines are scarce. So doctors there have developed an amazing technique. They surround the patient with ice to slow the body's metabolism. That helps prevent brain damage while doctors stop the heart to operate on it. American doctors who traveled there to see the technique firsthand were astonished.
The patients were put to sleep, then wrapped up in ice, allowed to get very cold, and then they were operated on. Their blood was taken out of them.
It almost sounds barbaric, but not if it saves her life. Will it? A Dateline Discovery Channel exclusive. Coming up.
Remember compliments you receive. Forget the insults. Be nice to your siblings. They're your best link to your past and the people most likely to stick with you in the future.
Finally, a minivan to live by. Introducing the all-new Mazda MPV.
yeah, I'm on a seafood diet. I see food, I eat it. But thanks to Healthy Choice, I've got a nutritional guardian angel. Like the roast chicken. All the fixins, only 6 grams of fat. What is that, like a sit-up? Healthy Choice. Figured it out. Chicken breast, smothered in a mushroom wine sauce, veggies so fresh tasting, they bite back. It's a plate full of good eating. There's no room for extra salt and fat. Choose Healthy Choice. How easy is that?
Excuse me, what are you doing?
I'm calling long distance with one of those 1010 numbers. Makes you crazy.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's not.
It'll make you nuts. But with the new AT&T One Rate 7-cent plan, calls are just 7 cents a minute.
Yeah, but you can only call at certain times, right?
7 cents a minute all day, every day.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week? That's simple.
Yes, it is.
So I don't have to use those 1010 numbers ever again?
No, you don't.
All day, every day. Call 1-800-41-RATE to enroll.
Excuse me, what are you doing?
The big Friends premiere. Who got married? Was it them? Or was it them? Well, it was somebody. Don't miss the Friends premiere, NBC this Thursday.
NBC Thursday, a special preview of Third Watch. One of the most hotly anticipated shows begins. From the producer of ER, Third Watch. First on Thursday, 10/9 Central, a special preview. And next Sunday, 8/7 Central, an all-new episode. It all begins must-see TV Thursday on NBC.
It's an extraordinary week on Today. Amy Fisher's first interview since her release from prison. Paul McCartney, Barbra Streisand, and live on the Plaza, Sting. This week on Today.
From our studios in New York, here again is Stone Phillips.
We're a nation of egg lovers. The average American eats and enjoys 245 eggs a year without any ill effect. But 3 years ago, when Dateline heard a government estimate that disease linked to eggs was sickening 300,000 people a year, causing as many as 200 deaths, we decided to investigate. How fresh and how safe are the eggs you buy? Tonight, the latest on a Dateline hidden camera investigation that prompted a federal crackdown. You're about to see what the government has and has not done to protect you.
We had to blow the whistle after your program, call in the USDA, and get them moving. I think when you came up with that videotape, and I still remember it, it really opened everyone's eyes.
These are the pictures that prompted a federal investigation. You were watching with a Dateline hidden camera as workers inside the largest inline egg packing plant in America take eggs out of old cartons, already with expiration dates, and mix them with fresh eggs to be rewashed, repacked, and redated as if they were new. When Dateline first broadcast these pictures last year, a food safety advocate and a U.S. senator were astonished.
I wouldn't want to be the consumer buying those eggs.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
And now there are new developments,
As we've learned on the Dateline news show, to be
including a report from the GAO, the investigative arm of Congress, warning that those who could have taken action haven't done enough.
Food safety program for eggs is cracked.
To stop a disease that's been sickening hundreds of thousands of Americans each year.
So this is what caused the Pennsylvania.
For the past decade, experts at the Centers for Disease Control have been tracking a once rare bacteria as it's been sweeping the country, making people sick. In most cases, it's just nausea and diarrhea. But for others, like Stephanie McFarland, it can be life-threatening.
It was awful. I thought I was going to die.
It struck again this summer at this restaurant in Virginia. 200 people got sick. 7 people had to be hospitalized. And this is what caused it. It's called Salmonella enteritidis, SE for short. At first, scientists wondered, where was it coming from? They were baffled until doctors at CDC discovered that SE could hide in something we thought was pure, inside government-approved, grade A eggs. Eggs had been one of the ingredients in the foods making people sick.
They seemed impossible, yeah. They really did.
Al Pope and other leaders in the egg industry could hardly believe it. That's because for years, eggs were considered so safe that in the movie, Rocky could eat them raw. But scientists think a mutation had allowed the SE bacteria to invade the reproductive tracts of healthy-looking chickens like these and get inside some eggs before they were even laid.
Salmonella can appear inside a perfectly clean, normal-looking egg.
The CDC's Dr. Robert Tokes told us they're like Trojan eggs. Can you tell the difference between a contaminated egg and one that's safe?
No, you can't.
Does it smell different?
No, it looks smells and tastes like a normal egg.
And some traditional ways of cooking eggs don't always kill it. In fact, when Dateline began investigating, the CDC told us it was a bigger problem than that other bacteria you've heard so much about in hamburgers.
It's at least as large a public health problem as E. coli 0157 in the number of deaths that it causes, and it causes substantially more illnesses.
But scientists also had some good news. Only a tiny percentage of eggs are infected. And when they're first laid, even contaminated eggs don't contain enough bacteria to make a healthy person sick. So the solution seems simple. Make sure eggs are fresh and keep them well refrigerated so the bacteria doesn't have a chance to grow.
Agriculture will have to do its part.
Congress even passed a law requiring 45-degree refrigeration.
It was supported by the industry. It was something that we felt was important.
It was signed by then-President George Bush way back in 1991. But when Dateline began investigating, 5 years later, we discovered that consumers can't always count on freshness or refrigeration. This is what we saw at an egg packing plant in California. The thermometer in the storage room read 60, not 45. We found the same problem at this grocery store in New York. Once again, the thermometer read 60. And at this store in California, there was plenty of refrigeration space for the beer and the wine. But as you rounded the corner, this is what you found. Eggs on sale, sitting in the center aisle, completely unrefrigerated, and not just for a few hours. In store after store, when we started marking the egg cartons, a different color each time we checked, we discovered eggs sitting unrefrigerated for days.
There's our marks. 1, 2, 3. Today is the 4th.
Bad. Really.
Unrefrigerated.
That should not happen.
What can happen when eggs aren't refrigerated for that long? Government tests showed that one SE bacteria can multiply to more than 1 million, enough to make almost anybody sick. And that's not all. When Dateline investigated again a year later, our hidden cameras found something even more surprising at this egg packing plant in Ohio. It's called the rewash line, where old eggs can get a new life.
Does this look familiar?
This looks real familiar.
Former workers like Pari Edmond told us how Buckeye Egg Company, one of the biggest in the country, had been repacking old eggs. He said it was like rolling back the odometer on a used car.
So these eggs already had an expiration date?
Yes.
And they're getting a new one?
Yes.
How often did this kind of thing happen? When you were there?
Every day.
He told us some eggs were repacked because they'd been dropped or accidentally packed in the wrong kind of carton. But others, he said, were sent back simply because they were getting too close to their original expiration date, the EXP, and grocery stores wouldn't take them anymore.
It was fairly common that you would have eggs that was 20 to 25, 26 days old, be ran back across the machine and given a new EXP.
Just because they were old?
Yes.
When eggs get old, they can be sold at a discount and processed safely for use in products like cake mix. But workers told us that by redating them, the company could still sell the eggs at full price and make more money.
That's absolutely not true.
Company officials flatly denied repacking old eggs, saying the allegations came from disgruntled employees. But inside the plant, this is what Dateline's hidden camera saw. On 7 different days in 1997, the camera watched as eggs, some in regular 1 dozen cartons, others in restaurant-sized packages called flats, were dumped back onto a conveyor, mixed in with fresh eggs, to be repacked and redated. How old were the eggs? Most of the time, the camera was too far away to tell, but several times it got close enough to see the codes, which tell when the eggs were first packed. At the rewash line, we saw cases marked 18 days, 19 days, 21 days, and 28 days old. Eggs nearly a month old being dumped back and mixed in with the new ones.
Eggs a month old have not been rewashed and repackaged here and redated?
Absolutely not.
I want to show you something to get your reaction. Take a look at the monitor here.
We showed our pictures to then company president Andy Hansen.
This is rewash at this plant. And if you look at the code dates on the packages, we were able to determine that these eggs were 18, 19, 21 days old, on one day 28 days old, going back through rewash at this plant. Your reaction to that?
My reaction to that is, as I would on anything that this is new to me. I've never seen this. I will check into it as I will all allegations that I've done since I've been president.
When we first broadcast these pictures last year, nobody knew whether any of Buckeye's eggs carried the SE bacteria. But just last week, the government sent Buckeye this warning letter after it traced an SE outbreak in Massachusetts to eggs from another Buckeye plant in Ohio. Buckeye says it voluntarily destroyed the chickens involved and told us its other eggs are safe. And the company says it has stopped repacking old eggs, but not because it had to. Dateline discovered that under federal law, repacking old eggs was actually legal, permitted at packing plants all across the country.
People have become sick, some have died, waiting for the federal government to meet its responsibility.
After seeing Dateline's report, Senator Richard Durbin called for this Senate hearing, demanding answers.
But the steps we have taken are making a difference, and we're committed to further progress.
USDA said it had taken swift action. Within days of Dateline's hidden camera investigation, the department issued an emergency order that banned repacking.
What percentage of the eggs sold in America?
But Senator Durbin discovered the ban only covers about a third of the nation's eggs, just the ones that carry a USDA shield like this.
So for the other two-thirds, it is still legal to repack.
That's right.
These eggs.
That's right.
What's more, Durbin says the government still hasn't done anything about the inconsistencies in the way eggs get their expiration dates. Last year, Dateline discovered that eggs packed on the same day could get different expiration dates. 4 weeks, 5 weeks, even 6 weeks away, depending on what a store wants. That's still legal too. And remember that decision to refrigerate all eggs at 45 degrees?
As we sit here today, are there national refrigeration rules in place from the farm to the grocery store?
No.
Congress passed a law on this back in 1991.
That's right.
And you're saying even today, it's still not fully enforced.
Still not fully enforced.
How can that be? Well, some rules written by USDA finally went into effect last month after an 8-year delay. But those rules are for packing plants, not for restaurants and grocery stores. As Durbin found out, that's the job of another agency, the FDA.
Now, you've known for 8 years this was coming, and so what has the FDA done?
That proposal is on display at the Federal Register now.
So you don't have an FDA final rule even after 8 years?
That's correct.
If we had turned the space program over to that agency, they'd still be trying to decide which way is up.
Durbin says that 8-year delay is proof the current fragmented system just isn't working.
This kind of delay is just absolutely unwarranted, and it's not safe. That's why we have to blow it up.
And replace it, he says, with a single new food safety agency. And his tough talk may be having an effect. In fact, just as the hearing was about to start, the Clinton administration released this announcement proposing warning labels on eggs to tell consumers eggs may carry a disease, must be refrigerated, and cooked thoroughly. Meanwhile, egg packers like Keith Mussman say the industry is making improvements on its own.
The egg industry considers food safety of paramount importance.
And he told us he thinks most repacking of old eggs has already stopped. Not because companies fear a government inspection, but because of the prospect of another hidden camera.
I would be willing to stake anything on the fact that there are less doing it today than were doing it last year, just for fear of that you're going to show up on their doorstep, just because of your report.
There is some encouraging news. As slow as the government has been to act, reports about the problem and the industry's own voluntary changes seem to be making a difference. Preliminary government figures show the number of SE cases has been dropping dramatically. To learn more about egg safety, risky recipes, and how to crack the code that tells you when eggs were actually packed, including a chart you can take with you to the grocery store, check our website at dateline.msnbc.com.
Coming up, open heart surgery on ice. That's right, the patient is packed in piles of ice, the blood drained out, and the heart stopped for an operation. Could this amazing method really work? A Dateline Discovery Channel exclusive. Also, you think you know health food from junk food? You might be surprised.
Take your reading glasses to the supermarket because you're going to need them.
How to make sure you're eating what you want in a Dateline Good Housekeeping exclusive.
All new must-see TV Tuesday premieres coming to NBC. Just shoot me, Finch married a supermodel. So how about that honeymoon?
What an animal in bed.
Louder. Third Rock alien baby finally revealed.
Well, it's purple, and it's slimy, and it's got a hose.
Are Will and Grace splitting up? Will Jack stay married to her?
That's Mrs. Jack McFarlane to you. I thought you were Mrs. Jack McFarlane.
And the brand new Mike O'Malley Show. Must-see TV Tuesday, NBC premiere week.
The countdown to 2000 in Pioneer Courthouse Square has begun.
Does this really frost me? Closed. You're the phone company. What do you think? People only have problems between 9 and 5, huh?
Sorry, folks. We're closed. Thank you.
We're closed.
AirTouch promise number 2. We promise live customer service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now you can get 250 digital minutes for $29.99 and an AudioVox 4000 digital phone for $59. AirTouch. Now you can.
My romance doesn't have to have a moon in the sky. My romance doesn't need one thing but you.
The $60 limited edition set, a $77 value, is now available at Meyer & Frank.
Here's your turkey, hon.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah?
I'm afraid that's not Jenny O turkey.
What? Hey, wait.
You can always tell Jenny O.
From the taste. It's a little different. A little better. Try it for yourself. Oh, yeah.
Good, isn't it?
Yeah, very tasty. You're not real cops, are you?
Book 'em.
Music.
Coming to Stone in 4, 3, 2, 1.
And dissolve the Stone. Now Dateline feedback. Your response to our story about a police officer who was fired after refusing to remove a Christian cross from his uniform.
Sergeant George Daniels was a rising star in the Arlington, Texas Police Department. But that changed when Daniels, a devout Christian, began pinning a small cross to his uniform. The Arlington police say they want their officers to appear neutral and offered to let Daniels wear a cross on a bracelet or ring just so long as the symbol was not attached to his uniform. When Daniels refused to compromise, he was fired for insubordination.
What right does he have to express his personal feelings on a uniform that represents Arlington Police Authority?
Daniels is now suing the department, charging his rights to freedom of religion and expression have been violated. Some of you wrote, "We commend Officer Daniels for standing up for his faith. This is a ridiculous situation, which could have been handled in a fair manner." But the majority felt differently. "I consider myself a Christian. The example of my living is a sufficient witness to my faith." This guy's witness was to his ego.
I don't think this is a constitutional or a religious issue. It's purely a case of an individual who does not want to follow regulations.
They should not have any personal expressions on their uniform. They're a government agency, and they're not there to promote religion in any way, shape, or form.
Now Dateline follow-up. A brief look at what's happened since we brought you this story.
Last year on Dateline, we brought you a disturbing story about dog and cat fur being used to make coats and toys. We showed you undercover video of the fur trade in the Far East. Dogs and cats being killed and skinned, sometimes skinned alive, and their pelts sold to exporters. Dateline also told you there is no federal law that prohibits importing dog or cat fur to the United States. Well, in June, a bill was introduced that would ban the sale of dog or cat fur. A sponsor of the legislation, Representative Gerald Kleska, credited Dateline and brought Colby, his own Shetland sheepdog, to the news conference.
There was a Dateline expose of fur clothing coming into this country, which indicated that manufacturers in other lands are shipping to this country articles of clothing and toys made with pets like Colby here today.
The proposed ban calls for a fine of $25,000 and as much as a year in prison for each violation.
Now the Dateline timeline. All the following events happened during the third week of September. Do you know what year it was? A jury ordered Exxon to pay $5 billion for the Alaska oil spill.
Miss Alabama, Heather Whitestone.
Heather Whitestone became the first hearing-impaired Miss America. Woody Harrelson starred in Natural Born Killers.
Stay out of his way, Scully. He doesn't want to hurt you. Can't you?
The X-Files started its second TV season. And a tune by Luther Vandross and Mariah Carey hit the charts.
You will always be my endless love.
All right, what year was it? 1993, 1994, or 1995? The answer when Dateline continues.
Folks, are you still buying chicken sandwiches from those burger boys? Why? Some of them boys grill their chicken dry as an old shoe. My new tender roast sandwich is deep marinated so it's full of flavor, slow roasted so it's tender and juicy. Try my new tender roast sandwich. Right now it's just $1.99. $1.99? I can do that. I'm the Colonel. At KFC, we do chicken right, in the bucket and now on a bun.
Sometimes less isn't more. More is more. New Sara Lee New York style cheesecake. Big, classy, creamy, right out of the freezer. Sara Lee, add some delicious to your life.
7,000 times a day. 685 times an hour. Once every 6 seconds, a GM owner puts their stamp of approval on the quality of our cars and trucks by coming back to buy another GM. It's the highest loyalty of any company in the industry. And to us, the highest compliment.
Let's eat. Ooh, cafe classics from Lean Cuisine. And I am Carlo, your wait person tonight. Chicken piccata. In herb lemon butter. Fabulous. You're not expecting a tip, are you? Yeah, 30, 40%. Stover's Lean Cuisine. It's not just lean, it's cuisine.
My brother's son said he had an idea that would make us rich.
That funny-looking kid said that.
Said we can use the internet.
The internet? We ain't selling books, we're selling feed, and we already sell every ranch in the county.
Arlen, you ever been outside the county?
Well? Give me a minute, I'm thinking.
Monday, Lifeline. Some say it's good medicine, using disposable medical instruments more than once. But how can they use this equipment again? NBC Nightly News, Monday.
This Monday on NBC, a second Law and Order series.
Benson Special Victims Unit.
The same unpredictable cases.
I just want to ask you a few questions about your wife.
The same unexpected endings.
If you want us to catch the people that killed your husband, we're going to need all of the information.
A second Law and Order series. Stories ripped from today's headlines.
I want to know the truth about these people.
Law and Order Special Victims Unit premieres this Monday at 9, 8 Central on NBC.
So what year was it? Heather was a winner. So was the X-Files. And Endless Love was soaring. It all happened the third week of September, 1994.
You're watching Dateline, winner of the George Foster Peabody Award for Distinguished Achievement in Journalism. Here now is Jane Pauley.
There's a little girl who desperately needs the kind of modern medical attention that an American family might have access to, though open-heart surgery would be terrifying under the best of circumstances. These, however, may be the worst of circumstances. Resources in this remote and frigid place are scarce, and doctors there rely on a technique that Western surgeons abandoned half a century ago. Instead of a heart-lung machine, the patient is literally put on ice. Here's Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Bob Arnott with a Dateline Discovery Channel exclusive.
The heart of Siberia, where people have a daily battle against the hazards of extreme cold. Where better to try using extreme cold to help cure a deadly problem. That's the treatment that awaits 10-year-old Luda Sudoloskaya. She was born with a hole in her heart, and her mother Natasha says too much strain on it could kill her.
After the age of 2, she just lay in bed and didn't walk. It was hard for her. I can see she's grown, and grown very quickly, and her heart, the doctors told me, can't keep up with her.
On a December night, Luda and her family drive to the Siberian capital to a special hospital called the Research Institute of Circulation Pathology. Luda's family prays for the best as she gets ready for her operation. If Luda were having surgery here in the United States, her heart would be stopped and a heart-lung bypass machine would temporarily take over, pumping the blood, adding oxygen to it, and keeping the body and brain alive. But heart-lung machines are scarce in Siberia, and doctors there believe they have a better technique, one that takes advantage of their natural resources. They think their method reduces the occasional risk of minor brain damage from the heart-lung machine. After Luda is put to sleep, ordinary ice from this meatpacking plant is used in an extraordinary way. Doctors place the ice around Luda, being especially careful to surround her brain. Gradually, Luda's body temperature drops to 27 degrees centigrade, about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. The cooling drastically reduces her need for oxygen and buys precious time for surgery. Doctors place a ball of ice in Luda's hand for good luck. Luda's heart slows, a natural reaction to the cold. So she doesn't freeze to death, doctors take the ice away, and then they boldly inject an icy solution into her heart to stop it completely.
I didn't really know whether to be horrified or impressed.
Dr. Joe Bavaria is a heart surgeon at the University of Pennsylvania Medical Center. He's part of a team of American doctors who went to Siberia to observe surgeries similar to Luda's.
The blood was taken out of them, and they were operated on with open heart procedures.
So what's the downside of the brain having no blood flow, in fact, no blood, for 20, 30, or 40 minutes?
The longer the brain has no blood flow, the higher the chances of having a stroke are.
With less than 1 hour to operate safely, the Siberian surgeons must work quickly and precisely. Doctors sew a patch over the hole in her heart and fix a valve. But Luda's battle is far from over. First, doctors put her blood back. Then doctors try to restart her heart by massaging it by hand.
Heart was diseased. Heart strength was not enough to start beating by itself. It needed some help.
The doctors are surprisingly calm in spite of the time pressure. Luda's heart has to start beating soon if her brain is to remain healthy. There's no room for surprises. And remember, there's no backup. That's why in the 1950s, doctors in the U.S. abandoned using extreme cold for simple heart surgeries in favor of bypass machines.